Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I am finally back on the channel after what it seems to be about like 21 days or something like that. Today we are going to be playing Abzan Midrange in standard best of 1. It's going to have 8 creatures, 26 non-creatures, 3.0 average converted mana cost, and 26 lands. Now, ever since the new year began, and ever since New Year's to be exact, I've been having a terrible time when it comes to life. So I took some time off because I literally could not record, and every time I tried to, I just couldn't. So it's part of life. A lot of people speak on the channel and like they say like some awkward remarks like, "Oh, here he goes again," like disappearing, not knowing that sometimes sometimes it's not under your control. Sometimes you have to take that time off because you cannot control what happens to you. So with that being said, I'm finally back. I don't want to make it too sad or whatever it is, but I'm finally back with an Abzan midrange list for standard best of 1. We never see Abzan on the ladder, right? And if we were to see Abzan, it'd probably be best of 3. But I think the colors black, white, and green have some great utility within them, and it makes for a great deck. So it's mostly Orzhov dominated, as you can see, but we have some great cards here on the 2 mana slot that are green that can help support the deck. So let's get right into the deck, right? It's mid-range. We have a ton of removal. We have removal for non-land permanents. We have ways to gain life. We have big creatures, and we can win with a lot of things, right? Initially, it's an Invoke Despair deck, so we have to construct our mana based on this one card, but it's fine, right? Because it works. So obviously, we have multiple sequences that have shown to work before within the list, right? Like turn 1 and turn 2 removal, and then turn 3 Trespasser to exile like an underdog or a creature that you've removed previously. And we also have the sequence of a turn 2 Bankbuster and turn 3 Trespasser, which I really, really love, because by turn 3 you can have a blocker or an attacker that's a 4/4, and honestly just stop any creature deck from just attacking on turn 3, because what if they have removal for the Trespasser? We also have Path of Peril that we can cast for Cleave here within this list as well, and just act as a non-limited board wipe, or we can cast it for 3 mana, and it's been a great card against mono red. We also have Loam Speaker here, and the reason why I have Loam Speaker is so I can cast my 4 drops a turn early, and I have Loam Speaker and Celestis here for Archangel of Wrath here as well. Archangel of Wrath, honestly the best card in the deck, and one of like top 3 best cards in standard at the moment in my opinion, because standard is mostly a creature dominated format, especially standard best of 1, and in creature dominated formats, a creature like Archangel of Wrath that can turn the game around simply by hitting the battlefield and using its effect is a very important card. So it's obviously the ace of my deck in my opinion, because of standard best of 1 having a ton of creatures, and it's also because lifelink and the way that it can shoot planeswalkers, it can shoot face, and it can shoot small creatures, and you gain life through that as well. So this card can flip games around. We're also running 4 Terra Sunders here and 4 Legions to Ashes, which can act, 2 Legions to Ashes, which can act as easier removal, non-land removal. We remove Anvils all day with the Terra Sunder. We can even remove creatures with the Terra Sunder, planeswalkers. Same for Legions to Ashes. We have multiple ways of dealing with enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, creatures, just pretty much anything that we face, right? And like I said, Archangel of Wrath, I made a split between Loam Speaker and Celestis, because Loam Speaker is a creature that can easily get removed by cut down, and I don't want to rely on a creature that can easily be removed, as opposed to relying on Celestis, which can also gain us life, filter through our hand a bit. We are running 26 lands, so what if we flood? Celestis is also good to have. We talked about our other removal, our Go for the Throat here, Invoke Despair's removal, and a single copy of Farewell. We don't really rely on Farewell, but it's good to have, right? We're also relying on card advantage cards like Reckoner, Bankbuster, and Invoke Despairs. We don't really run out of cards. We do reach a point where we run out of cards, but if we play correctly and draw an Invoke Despair, we have multiple Bankbusters. That is just never going to happen, right? So we're always going to have gas. And life gainers within Archangel of Wrath, Wandering Ember, Shieldred the Apocalypse, Graveyard Trespasser can act as life gain. Celestis can gain its life as well. Just multiple life gain. Obviously, the sequence of Shieldred and Invoke Despair is broken. And Wandering Emperor gaining us life and tempoing is pretty good as well. And Archangel of Wrath is a broken card as well. And it's pretty straightforward. That does it for the list, honestly. You're gonna see how I play this deck within the gameplay, and you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. And we also have life gain within our lands here as well, especially for these very aggressive mono red matchups. We have a ton of ways to gain life. Your slamming Shieldred is usually very, very hard to deal with when it comes to mono red players. Tempoing with the Wandering Emperor is also the same thing. You make a Samurai, you take the block, then next on your turn you exile one of their creatures when you gain 2 life, and then slamming the Archangel of Wrath is a death sentence for any red deck. And also, we have just a ton of utility when it comes to this deck. I've been really, really happy with this performance so far. I want to show you its win rate. The win rate of this deck is insane. So far, it's been really successful. Just give me one moment. Should have had this prepared, but oh well. Alright, so I have a 68% win rate with this deck. I went 15-7. 3 out of my 7 losses were because of lands. It's just another day at Magic, right? But this is the deck. 15-7, 68% win rate on the play. We actually won more on the draw than on the play, and it's because I lost a lot of my games on the play because of lands. And on the draw, Archangel of Wrath, I cannot stress that enough. This card is broken, right? On the draw, it flips games around. So we actually kind of specialize on being on the draw, even though we have a lot of expensive spells in the deck. But the fact that you have cards like Archangel of Wrath, Wandering Emperor, and Shieldred, and early on cheap removal can really, really like flip the game around if you're on the draw. So that's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, within the mana base here, we're obviously focused on black here because of Invoke Despair, and we have the legendary lands. I have two basic swamps here. I never really had problems with mana. The only problems was that fact that I didn't draw lands sometimes within 3 games. I ended up scooping because it's like turn 5 or 6 and I'm on 3 mana, and there's nothing I can do about that. Now, you farm 80% of the games that you play against, which are creature decks, but you will lose almost 100% of the time, if not like 98% of the time, against slow blue decks. Control decks you will lose against. Mono blue decks usually you lose against. If it's a slightly worse version of mono blue, you have a chance to win, and I actually beat a mono blue deck that was slightly worse than the good version. But regularly against slow blue decks that have a lot of tempo and counter spells, you're going to lose 100%. How to make the deck better? You can run duress, but and I thought about duress, but it's terrible in best of 1, especially against a lot of creature decks, in my opinion. Yeah, you can hit their removal potentially, but I wouldn't really want to rely on it. It's more of a sideboard card, and I've always had that mindset about duress. Now, if it's a deck that can benefit off of you discarding something from your opponent's hand in any way, then yeah, you can run duress, but I decided not to. But I think if you want to make the deck a tiny bit better and better your chances, or by at least a tiny bit against blue decks, you have to run some form of discard spell, because within the Abzan colors, you don't really have other ways to combat blue decks. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. If you do, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll surely be seeing you next time with another video. Okay, bye. Alright, keepable hand, I suppose. We have 3 Terra Sunders, 1 Bankbuster, which is a pretty good turn 2 play onwards. You can sink mana into the Bankbuster if you keep passing. And you have some decent removal for these early enchantments and artifacts. Maybe you have removal for an opposing Bankbuster. Alright. But I think here we just play ours. Get it out. They're on Grixis so far. Might be Rakdos, but they're using these lands, but we'll see. Yeah, it's definitely Grixis. Okay. Actually, let's not pay for that. I have Shieldred next turn, which is easily going to die, right? They have 7 cards in hand, so I don't doubt that they have removal in hand. They're on 4 colors. Interesting. Yeah, turn 2 Bankbuster, turn 3 Fable. Sure, sure, sure. Shieldred is just going to die. Like, it does nothing here for me. But that's how good Fable is. In order for you to fully remove its value, you need 2 cards. So that's something. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay. Yikes. I mean, that's just insane. Okay. Need to take the draw here. Okay. That is not good. Alright. We currently don't have a way to kill this Urza. And if we play Shieldred, I have a counter spell up, so that's pretty bad. I think we need to take the draw here. Tear Asunder. I'm actually going to save it for a Might Stone, Weak Stone here, I think. Let's play the other Bankbuster, especially since they might have a counter spell. Clearly they don't, but I mean, there's nothing else we can do, to be honest. They're playing 5 colors. Yep, that was expected. I'm glad I made that decision. At least we can get rid of one thing here. Loam Speaker. That's not really good. Alright, remove Might Stone, Weak Stone. I guess we play a Shieldred here. They might have another one in hand easily. And we've already used all 4 of our Tear Asunders. We haven't drawn another like removal spell besides Cut Down. Nothing. Okay. They just pass. Alright. Yeah. Just get the Celestis down. Trespasser, huh? I mean, I would rather just take the draw, to be honest. Passing was suspicious there from our opponent, but we need to gain as much value as possible off of the Shieldred and Bankbuster, because they have access to a ton of mana. They have a Reflection online here as well. And they just keep on passing, I guess. Maybe they're flooding, maybe, but we don't know. Maybe they're prepping for a turn where it's Might Stone and Urza Planeswalker in the same turn. So here I think we're gonna get rid of the land. We can draw another land easily. We're up on life. Archangel of Wrath is insane here. We desperately needed a removal spell there, to be honest. We're on nighttime. Maybe we can draw one, but I'm just gonna go for the Archangel of Wrath here. Nice, okay. Yeah, Archangel of Wrath is just a broken card, to be honest, in standard best of 1. It's broken. Okay. Yikes. What is up with these hands? It's fine. Bank Buster is a good card, but not 3 of them. Another blue deck. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Especially since we unfortunately can't play anything on turn 2. Yep. Fortunately it didn't flip, but they do run a ton of protection, and this is not an ideal hand to... We need to get a Bank Buster down. That's what we need to do. But we also need a cut down off the top, so that when they counter this, we can actually... So something's getting countered. Yeah, something is just not going to resolve. Okay. Spell Pierce maybe? No? Alright. At least we put down a Bank Buster. Next turn we have access to 4 mana, so... we can make something happen, I think. They drew another Consider. Okay. We really need cut down. Alright, another land. I'm gonna play the Loam Speaker here. And I think we go after this this flipped Delver. Especially since they have 1 mana. I mean, it's just to consider holding priority or maybe protection, but we have to see. We have to see what our options are. At least get the protection out of their hand. Yeah, it seems like they're gonna react. Yep, that sucks. Turn 1 Delver, turn 3 flip is just devastating. And they're finally starting to hit their land drops. Okay. The problem is our spells are kind of big, and against blue, like, there's just no way for us to win against blue. We can try out this Archangel of Wrath here. Wait, what? Oh, we only have 1 white source. Yikes, that's pretty unfortunate. But it's also good for us. Is it though? Yeah, we don't have another mana to dodge a counterspell here, but we have to go for this Archangel of Wrath. You can target this other Delver. Yeah, just tons of protection in hand. Fading Hope. I mean, might as well go for that. It's gonna resolve, and we're gonna swing back. Let's try to swing back here. Maybe we can race them, but I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. We need another white source here. We're desperate for another white source here. So that at least we can kill a Djinn or this and still have a flyer. Nice. Okay. Now we can do it, at least. Counter spell incoming. Or protection spell incoming. I think their deck is focusing more around protection than counter spells. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that for now. Yeah, it's just they're running a ton of protection here, and like tempo plays. I'll happily take the block here. Yeah, but now we're struggling, obviously. Tear asunder. Alright, let's go for it. We're relying on the fact that they're running a lot of what do you call it? A lot of tempo and protection rather than a lot of counter spells. We're relying on that factor there. Path of Peril. I think we have to go for it. Oh, I should have actually. Can I full control now? I don't think so. Blue, sure. They're tapped out. We're gonna take the draw rather than play another Bankbuster here. Take off the full control. Okay, had a land drop. Why not? At least we can sink a ton of mana into these Bankbusters here. Yeah, their deck is definitely the like a terrible version of mono blue. Like, it's been horrible so far, or at least their decision making has been terrible. Okay. And these Bankbusters are busted. Okay. Draw, discard, draw, discard. I do think they have a Tolarian Terror here. That they run Tolarian Terror. But this is a definitely manageable mono blue deck that we can actually beat. We finally drew the cut down here as well. They might have protection for this Delver. That's fine. I'd rather take the draw anyway. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, yikes. Alright. Might have a counter spell here finally, but it's okay. I mean, I'd rather just invoke Despair, soak up the counter spell here. Yeah, at least we get rid of one of these sagas here. Alright. They're down to 5. I'm definitely going to slam this Shieldred here if I could. I mean, what are you going to do? Flip a Delver and attack me? Yeah, make the Spear. Okay, that's fine. They didn't flip the Delver, but they flipped this Modern Age thing. Enchantment. And a Tolarian Terror. Yeah, it's hard mode. Sure. Alright, well. I think if they don't block here, they die. Alright, that's pretty good for us.
I've learned much during my travels.
We get rid of the terror. Man, it's been good so far. And that's a game. Nice. GG's. Alright. Another good hand. Now, this hand would probably be bad if we didn't have Celestis. Celestis gives us a turn 5 farewell, right? And if it's mono red, this hand isn't really good. Cut down is pretty good though, but I think we get the Bankbuster down and we play cut down and Celestis on turn 3. We can't really be making a 1 mana play on turn 2 if we have a important turn 2 play. Yeah, it is mono red. I think this should be manageable here. 2 Kumanus, okay. We need Path of Peril here desperately, but nonetheless, and then these Pain lands certainly don't help, but at least we have Celestis now. Okay. That's a 3/3 Phoenix Chick. Alright. That's pretty good. Okay, friend. I would have loved to target the reinforced throne in there with the cut down, because that's going to be a headache, but I think we're just going to Legions to Ashes here if we don't draw something good. At least we can draw off of the Bankbuster and Legions to Ashes. And I don't know what the holdup is with our opponent there. Just attack, friend. Okay. What a card. Alright, we are definitely still going to do that. I want to get full value off of this Archangel of Wrath here. Even though we're going to take a ton of damage. We're going to take 6 damage here at least. But this Archangel of Wrath should help. Yeah, that's 7 damage. Okay, at least. What's your last card? Another reinforce. That's 9 damage. Okay. Alright. We definitely have to draw a land here. We have to. We didn't draw a land. That's so unfortunate. That is extremely unfortunate, but oh well. Alright, we're up to 5. If they find removal for this, we can, they won't. They'll probably just play these, right? That's a lot of damage. I think we're dead. Yeah, we desperately needed a land there. Yeah, not drawing a land cost us the game, fortunately. That's 6, 7. That's 8. No, we're not dead, but if they have removal in hand, then we are. We're up to 3. Okay, we're still not dead. That's pretty good, man. Archangel of Wrath, bro. Seriously. What a card. Alright. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, we can still tempo out a bit. We need to attack with this Archangel of Wrath. We're up to 6. And we are going to pass here. Okay, a land. That's a good sign. Another Ronin. That's okay. Let's get rid of these. Archangel of Wrath is the biggest nightmare for any best of one deck, to be honest. It literally flips games around. It's insane how good the card is. We're still not drawing a land, by the way, but I'm happy with the way this is feeling so far. We drew a land now. I don't think we need Farewell anymore, to be honest. I think we can manage. Yeah, I think they lost the game now. Archangel of Wrath. Just one card to end an entire red deck. Burn down the house. And not to kill Archangel of Wrath. Okay?
Feel the energy. May your blade strike.
Alright. Actually, why am I doing that?
I have got new moves to teach you.
Yep. We're up to 10. Yikes. That's pretty good. And there's a lot of utility within the best of one standard for Terra Sunder. It's been an amazing card so far. Shivan Devastator, I'm ready for that. They can attack down this Wandering Emperor, but yeah, they lost the game pretty much. Archangel of Wrath, man. What a card. Nice. Alright, yeah. Why not? Okay. Let's see what we're playing against. 2 Terra Sunders for like an early bank buster and a Fable, and then Celestis go for a throw. Not ideal, but it's definitely a playable hand. Like, I can't really complain about that. The lands are good. The cards are also pretty decent. Alright. We have a viable turn 2 play. Grixis. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Celestis here, and it's fine if we take 3 damage. I don't really want to be using my Terra Sunder on the Harvesters here. We know they run Fables and stuff like that. Or Anvils. These are targets for these Terra Sunders. I've already beat an Anvil deck. Yikes, okay. All right. Okay, opponent. Click the button, friend. Alright, they probably, they just let it go. Okay. Let's see what they're on. Now we can take the draw, which I don't hate. I don't really want to be using my go for the throat. Okay, it's another Anvil. That's pretty good. But I think I would rather do that on my turn. But since they attacked with the 1/1, yeah, I'm just gonna do that during my turn. I think I can tank this. Another land and a farewell. Alright. Yeah, we can't actually name artifacts, right? Okay. Two anvils gone so far. They had two anvils, I had two terra sunders. That's how it works. Sure. We might use this go for the throat on the harvester, but they're stuck on 3 mana. Now they have 4. They might have a shield druid. Fable, of course. So since I'm gonna fare well next turn, I think I just take this, to be honest, and save my go for the throat. Cut down is pretty good, but save that as well. Now we don't rely on our graveyard in any way with this deck, so I don't mind even exiling graveyards. Alright, Loam Speaker. Yeah, might as well play this Takenuma. It really isn't going to do much for us. So all enchantments, all creatures, and all graveyards. That's pretty good value off of this farewell. They don't even get to loot. And then Invoke Despair. Another Anvil. Okay. Alright. Well, we have plenty of ways to deal with that in our deck. Legions to Ashes. We have 2 more Terra Sunders. We're not drawing them. That's fine. Okay. I thought about passing here so we can loot with the Celestis, but I mean, putting down a Bankbuster shouldn't be all that bad. I think we're in a decent spot here, at least. There are 3 cards in hand. They have an Anvil, but they need artifacts here. Okay, 2 cards. They need artifacts for this Anvil. Oh man, we still have so many options in our deck. It's insane. We can start attacking now, at least with these Bankbusters, which is pretty good. If they don't remove the pilot, that is. And Invoke Despair, that's really good. Okay. I'm definitely gonna loot here. And I think I'm going to get rid of this Loam Speaker, because we already have Celestis for the Archangel of Wrath, right? So it's almost untouchable if they don't have an Abrade. But they can certainly touch the Loam Speaker. And I don't need it. Make up your mind, friend. Remove the pilot or don't. They're not going to be able to remove the pilot anyway because I'm just going to crew in response. So. Alright. They should have removed it during their turn if they really was about to make that play. Maybe another removal spell in hand, which would be great for us, to be honest. That means they have nothing anymore. You didn't think I can crew on my draw step? Okay. Alright, if I drew something playable, that ditching the Loam Speaker would have been the play here, but... Let's just attack first, secure that damage. And then we invoke Despair and draw 3 potentially. Well, it is a draw 3. And look at these draws, that's insane. So draw with the Bankbuster or run out a Trespasser. Trespasser can crew next turn. Drawing with the Bankbuster guarantees that we might find our Legions to Ashes or Terra Sunders, so I'm not in a hurry here. We quickly took the lead with this game. Harvester's fine. We have plenty of cards in hand. Alright. Opponent, I'm just drawing with the Bankbuster, friend. I haven't even made a play against you yet. I don't get what goes through their mind. Fine, we found Legions to Ashes, so that's pretty good. Okay. They want to activate the Anvil in response. That they're highlighting that. You better do it quick. Alright, we even have this Seiju here for this Anvil. Yeah. Why not? Just save these Legions to Ashes. That's the third Anvil. I think we comfortably run out the Trespasser here. Maybe even Shieldred. But if they have removal, I would like for them to discard at least. And if they can't, then they can't really remove this Trespasser, can they? Alright. It's very easy here for us. Like, this is an extremely easy game. We haven't seen a counter spell. We haven't seen anything yet. They are running blue. Wonder for what? Maybe Tezzeret or something spicy like that, but we're not really in a hurry here. I don't want to double spell so that this won't flip. Fourth Anvil, okay. It's expected. Opponent, do it in your turn. Nice. So that you can at least get a creature. GG's. Alright. At least we have some lands now. Definitely a keepable hand here. I mean, you'd be insane to mulligan something like this. Okay. Our opponent is on soldiers, I'm guessing. Turn 2 Thalia would be ideal for us because we can cut it down next turn. It's a Valiant Veteran. Okay, it's pretty good. Okay, a hand filled with removal against creatures. We have a way to refuel with Invoke Despair, and we do have the 5 lands for Invoke Despair, so let's see. That's pretty good. Alright. I'm gonna cut down this Valiant Veteran before the Siege Veteran enters the battlefield so that they won't really get a 1-1. Targeting the Veteran is a terrible idea, friend. Okay. They need to target this. Yeah, so that when it dies, they get a 1-1. That's the idea. That's the whole idea behind the Veteran, anyway. Okay, we're surviving so far. We're gonna put a stop here so that we can tear asunder this Veteran. Sure. Now they might play a 1-drop here. Doesn't seem like it so far. Okay. See what they want to sacrifice here. That's a draw 2 / kill a creature. Which is pretty good. Sacrifice that. I'm surprised. Shieldred should be good, but I'm missing more removal because they have Brutal Cathars in hand, right? That they're saving up for something like a Shieldred. 3 Veterans. 3. We have a Path of Peril. Okay, so now we definitely run out this Shieldred. And I'm going to put down this Bankbuster here as well. So that if they have a Brutal Cathar, we just wipe the board, get the Shieldred back, and they lose just a lot of value. Alright, let's just keep them at bay for now, so that we don't take any more damage. They thought about it. Okay. Since we can't draw with it, might as well attack. They're down to 10. Okay. Guardian of New Benalia, sure. That's pretty good. We're just gonna pass it back. Lay down arms. Okay. We gain life with that, so thank you. That's exactly how I want my Shieldred to be removed, with 3 extra life. Okay. They take the Scry. And Bankbuster is just so good. Like so good. Like look at how it affected the game so far. They just can't attack through a Bankbuster. Like what do you oh man, and they have no cards in hand. Yikes. Alright. Gnome Speaker is a clutch here, providing the red mana that we needed for this Archangel of Wrath. And there's nothing you can do about that, friend, but just watch. And we were 1 mana off of this Invoke Despair, but... Yep. We pretty much farm creature decks all day. But like slow blue decks obviously beat us, right? Because of counter spells. and tempo. But creature decks, yeah, we farm all day, man, all day. Jeez.